Hello and welcome back to my BC ModStack series. My name is Cal. I'm a developer, a store owner just like you. And if you haven't watched the first video yet, you're going to want to watch that first and then come back to this video. I'll leave a link below. And basically, in the first video, we went over, what this is, this ModStack that we're talking about, why it's important, why this is a better way to BigCommerce. To put it succinctly, just to sum it up, we're talking about your store running faster. We're talking about giving you widgets, modular widgets that you can use to build your content instead of being tied down by the theme that you purchase up front. I showed you guys the theme that we've built as part of this mod stack. The mod stack is comprised of the leanest, meanest, lightweight theme for BigCommerce that's out there, combined with some widgets that are built for it, and a modular philosophy of, this way of thinking that we need to stop being contained by our themes, right? We need to start building our site to match the content. It needs to say what we need it to say. We don't need to alter what we need to say to fit some premium template that we bought, right? That makes no sense. So in this video, the second video, we're going to go over how to actually set this up, how to get all the things that, I told you are possible. I'm going to show you how easy it is. And again, this is something that you can build on your own if you want to. And if you want help with it, if you want someone to actually design it and build it out with this mentality, this modular mentality, guess what? I'm your guy. My team and I are here to design and build, make it beautiful, and consult as needed. We're here to be your partner in the long run. If you're not ready for that type of relationship, or if you just think this guy's a weirdo, that's fine. You can still use our stuff. If you have a developer, or if you are a developer, I suggest you watch this video and set your store up or your client store up this way. They're not going to be mad at you if they end up with something that's super fast and able to easily have their content edited. Okay. In the next video, by the way, I'm going to get into the weeds on some of the tech stuff and show you how you can, you or your developer or me as your developer can, do some customizations and where to do it and how not to make a mess. Right. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to set this up. You don't have to be a developer to do this. And yeah, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we're going to set this up on my RV Gear Pro store. I've created a new instance for it. So this thing is brand new, and let's dig into it. So you're going to want to go into the back end of BigCommerce and go down to storefront themes. Oh, and by the way, I didn't at any point tell you what this actually costs, right? If you get the theme that we're about to get, I'm about to buy this from myself, basically. If you get the theme, it's 200 bucks. If you get the widgets, it's $79, and that's $79 one time. You will never have to pay a recurring fee for it or anything like that. So you're talking about an entire investment under $300 to build your store out this way if you do it yourself, right? Okay. So we're going to start out by loading the theme. I'm going to show you around in the theme, and then we're going to load the widgets, and I'll show you around in the widgets. All right. So I'm in the back end of my BigCommerce store, RV Gear Pro, under storefront, themes, and you can see I have Cornerstone installed, and that's it. Maybe that's all you have as well. Now the way to get this new theme is we're going to go to Theme Marketplace. And in here, I wish, and if, BigCommerce, if you're watching this, I wish there was a search bar in here so someone could just type in the name of the theme. All right, putting that aside, here's how you find it. Now there's currently three variants of the Epic Superstore theme, which is the one that we're talking about, and they are under different industries. Actually, this the dark variant, Epic Superstore Electronics, currently looks like it's in the featured section. Oh, and so is the camping theme. But the one I want is the fashion theme. To get the camping theme, if you don't see it here in the featured section at the time that you're looking at this, you come down here to sports and recreation, and then that'll show that one. If you want the dark mode theme, you can go into electronics, and it's right there. Now, if you want the light mode one, you need to go into fashion and scroll down. Here it is, Epic Superstore Fashion. Now, there are a couple different pages of this, so if you don't see it on page 1 when you're looking at this, you might have to go to page 2. But hopefully we stay on page 1. That would be nice, right? So I'm going to click into Epic Superstore Fashion. And it's currently on version 1.0.9. And this is what it looks like. You can see the screenshots of the other ones, the other variants. It doesn't really matter which variant you purchase. You'll be able to access all three variants from whichever one. But I think most people are going to choose the white background. So I'm going to just show you guys on the Epic Store Fashion how to get it. Now you can view the demo, which will take you to our demo store. You can preview it, or you can just click purchase. and I'm going to purchase it. Now it says I do have to be logged in as the store owner. Let me pause, and I'm going to log back in as the real me. All right, now I'm logged in as the right user here. I'm going to again click on Epic Superstore Fashion. I'm going to again click on Purchase Theme. And it says, oh, okay, that's going to be 195 bucks. And apparently they're going to charge me tax because I live in a place with tax. And it gives me, here's my payment method that it's going to charge. I can change the payment method if I want. I'm going to just go ahead and purchase the theme. Feels a little bit weird purchasing stuff for myself, but it is what it is. All right, theme purchase. Do you want to apply blank blank to your storefront now? That's weird. Seems like a little bit of a BigCommerce bug. So do I want to apply it to my theme? That's going to make it go live immediately. So instead of doing that, I'm going to save to my library without applying. Now, if you're on a demo store and you haven't launched yet, feel free to go ahead and apply it. And now if I go back into my storefront themes, now I see my active theme, and here is my Epic Superstore theme. So let's click into that. Now this is not active currently, so I can click into it and do customize. And this opens up the page builder and shows me what it looks like before it ever goes live. Okay. So if you're new to BigCommerce, there's the design mode, which lets you do things here on the page, like put content and drag widgets in and stuff. And then there is preview, which lets you see it as it's going to be on the web. And you can see that it's already got some stuff in here just from content I already had loaded on the site. So yours may look a little bit differently if you don't have some widgets already on your page like I do. Or it looks like this is the hero carousel, but this is a widget right here. This is an alternating banners widget. But this is how it looks automatically. Now you can see that this content row doesn't look great because there's too much stuff in it. Now, by default, this theme is going to put both your categories and your pages into the menu, and you may or may not like that. But you can turn it off if you like. So giving you a little bit of a tour here in the settings. On the left-hand side of your customizer, you have the widgets where all the widgets are contained. You have layers. This shows you all the layers where you have a widget that's inside a column, that's inside a layout, that's inside a region. And this is kind of how your page is situated. That's not the right word. Laid out. When we're looking at the page, we see purple areas which say global region, and we see blue areas that do not say global region. And you notice if we click into preview, both of those disappear. These are widget regions. This is where you can drop a region. And we've loaded up this theme with all of the regions we thought you guys may want, including a top bar region, including a global bar underneath the menu, including like a non-global bar, a page-specific region here underneath the menu. This is where the hero carousel is. Here's an across the column widget region. Here's a across the right-hand side widget region. Here's a couple widget regions at the bottom of your sidebar if you want a sidebar. There's a widget region here that you can see has already got a widget in it from what I had in here before. There's a couple more down here. There's a couple more down here. There's a couple more. There's one more here above the footer. And then there's widget regions below each of these footer columns, and two all the way down here. One of which is edge to edge, and one of which has the normal page container padding in it. So, man, this thing's widget ready. Is all I can tell you. It's just begging for you to put widgets into these widget regions, and really, like every page is like that. If I click into a category page, then you can see that there's more widgets regions here, more here, just like they're just all over the place. All right. So first of all, let's look at some of the settings. Oh, I forgot to show you where the settings are. So under design mode, again, this is the layers menu. This right here is your theme styles. Now, as I mentioned in the prior video, this theme is a very light overlay on top of Cornerstone. And we, as a team that's built thousands of stores and, serviced tons and tons of stores built by other people, service tons of people on third-party themes, on, Cornerstone themes, like all over the place. We feel strongly that it's best practice, because our intent is to stay as close as possible to Cornerstone, for us not to have augmented any of these menus that come from Cornerstone. So the styles, the global, header, footer, homepage, products, button, and icons, checkout page, those are all entirely stock. We haven't changed a single setting in there. You have all the exact same stuff that Cornerstone comes with. The only thing we've added in here is this little block here where it says Epic Styles. So the custom stuff that we added to this is completely segregated from the normal Cornerstone stuff, which, as I mentioned in the prior video, is going to make this a lot easier for you or for us on your behalf or another developer to update this to the newest version down the road. Okay. So inside Epic Styles, we have some choices that we've added for the header, like being able to add a sticky header or to turn this top bar on and off. Maybe some people want to just like toggle it off sometimes, but still keep the, the top bar as it is. You can just toggle it off just like that. And you can see things changing in the background as I'm changing that. So with the sticky header, this is going to make it so that the header continues to be visible at all times as you scroll down the page, which is a really popular thing that a lot of people want. Not saying everybody has to have it, but if you want it, wouldn't it be nice to have it with just one single checkbox instead of, 50 lines of code? Yeah, it would. All right, moving on. You can see you can change your navigation. So like maybe you want it to be centered, where you have like all of your main menu items here in the center. It's not working right because I have too many items in it, but that's what that should do if I had the right number of menu items in it. Maybe you want to change the background color to like Big Bird yellow of the main navigation, right? There you go. You could do that. Big bird away. I'm going to change it back to something more responsible. Maybe you want to show the search. Maybe you want to just show like a search icon and not have the exposed search, right? So you can uncheck that and there it goes, and you just have the search button instead, right? If you do want the search exposed in the header, maybe you want to be able to change the background colors or the border color or whatever and style this a little bit different. You can do that. All right, so keep in mind we're going to be adding more options to this over time. So by the time that you see this, we're going to be past 1.0.9. There may be more stuff here than what I'm showing you, but I just want to kind of give you a tour of some of the stuff that's possible, right? So you have some choices that you can make in the header, some big choices, including a sticky header. Like reasonably, most people could launch with a header just like this without any customization. Maybe some more customization would make it more fun. But if you're doing this on a budget, like this is a really nice looking header. I am going to come back here in a minute and actually let's just do it now. I'm going to show you guys how to augment the content that's here in your menu before we move on from the header stuff. So the header here on Epic Superstore is made up of two menus. First is your categories menu, which currently includes appliances for RVs, campsite gear, RV exterior, etc., as well as your pages menu. Now you can turn off your pages menu if you don't want to include your pages in here with this button right here, which is one of the BigCommerce Cornerstone default flags, which is under header and footer, hide links to web pages. That's going to take your web pages out of the menu. So we can see now that those were removed, which basically fixes my menu because now I don't have too much stuff in it. And you can see that the center started working once I had not too many things in it as well. But I do want to keep those links to web pages. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually admin your content. So these first 7 links are pulling from categories. These next 3 links are pulling from pages, right? So let's go and let's get the heck out of this customizer, and I'll show you guys how to easily admin your pages here on BigCommerce. All we got to do is go back out of customizer, and we can go to products, categories, and the categories that are showing here are going to be the categories that show in the menu. So, say I didn't want one of these, I could either nest these differently so there's not as many menu items in here, or maybe you just want to disable a couple that you're not using. So I'm going to just disable a couple of these here in the short term. And if I go back to my customizer, I'm going to leave this open in a tab here so I can just come back to it and refresh. You can see now that because I removed some of those categories, now I don't have too many things, at least for desktop, right? But I don't really want shipping and returns in there. I don't really want contact us. I'm fine with the blog being in there for the moment. And so what I'm going to do, let's go back to here and go to storefront web pages. This is where you admin your web pages. And right now I have shipping, returns, contact us, and blog. What I want to do instead is I want to have an about page, right? And I'm just going to call it about. I'm going to just put some info coming soon message in here and save. Okay, so now I actually added one more guy in here. But now what I'm going to do is take my shipping and returns and my contact us. I'm going to jog it over under about, meaning that these now are children of the about page. And if I go back to my front end, look at that. I'm going to click into preview so I can see these working. And if I click on about, now a drop down comes under here, and shipping and returns and contact us are now nested under about. And this is a feature that's not in Cornerstone by default. By default, Cornerstone does that with categories, but it does not do that with pages. But our theme does it with both, which is really nice. Okay, so we've fixed our menu items and we've played around with the settings here in Epic Styles for the header. Now, there's a couple other nice things in here. Under this global section, we have replace Tumblr with the TikTok icon. What in the heck are we talking about? Well, under storefront social media links, when you come in here and you come in, you want to like put your links to all of your social medias in here, you'll notice that we have some silly ones in here that are super old, like Tumblr, which, I mean, does anyone use Tumblr anymore? And we got, the old icon for Twitter and stuff. And I don't even, is this StumbleUpon? I don't remember what this one is, but we don't have a TikTok, right? And so normally what you're going to do is you're going to drag these up here for the social medias that you want to list on your store. And so you're going to put your Facebook icon in here, and you're going to put your Twitter, I'm sorry, your Pinterest, common. I'm just putting these in with, fake links to show you how this works. But you would put your actual real Pinterest board, your actual real Facebook board and stuff in here. And this one right here, Tumblr, we're saying that if you put your TikTok link in here and click save, we're actually going to convert that Tumblr icon to a TikTok icon. So let me save and refresh the page and we'll see that working. And this seems like a small thing, but I mean, if you're not doing TikTok right now, like what are you doing? You should be doing TikTok. Now, this is probably, you're going to be watching this like 6 months from now and you'll be saying, what's TikTok? I remember when TikTok was around. It's going to be super old, but doesn't matter. For right now, there's your TikTok icon, right? And if we change this to unchoose that under Epic Styles, replace Tumblr with TikTok icon, and you'll see it went back to Tumblr. So nobody uses Tumblr. This is such a good feature. We've had to replace out or add in so many TikTok icons for people. It's kind of silly. If you want a background image like behind the whole page, you can use this right here. If you want to change the alignment of your breadcrumbs or page headings, you can do that right here. Now here's something that's really cool. We wanted, I mean, there's not really a great theme in our opinion out there for large product catalogs, and we wanted this to be able to be that. And that means that you need to have an option for a sidebar. But, in bringing an option for a sidebar, it's hard to choose. Is this something that's just going to be on your category page, or do you want to put it on your product page, or do you want to put it on your home page? And like, how is everything aligned? So what we did is we said, okay, let's assume that there's going to be a sidebar, and we gave you choices on your home, your category, your product page, and all other pages to decide. Do I want this on the left side, on the right side, or none sides? Okay, so on the home page, say you look at this sidebar and you're like, I don't want a silly sidebar. What am I doing here? Okay, just choose none, dude. It'll go away. Boom. And you could do the same thing, or maybe you wanted it on the right side instead, just like that. Now I'm going to turn it off to, I'm going to set it to none for the moment. But you can do the same thing on these other pages. So it gives you really all the control you really need on when and where your sidebar shows up, including on the blog. And it's really nice that it's on the blog. Okay. This enables web pages in your sidebar. So this just takes your web pages menu and puts it in the sidebar. Same as, the same as the category content that's there by default. And this lets you choose flyout currently, but there's going to be some more options coming for like how, I think we're adding an accordion option to these to make these accordion instead of flyout. You can change the heading here of the sidebar right here. You can change some color options on your sidebar. So you have a lot of choices here on the sidebar. And maybe you don't want a sidebar, so you'll just hit none, 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 and don't worry about it anymore. But otherwise, you got some nice stuff to play with. Show category heading full width is on the category page. So if we go to a category, so by default, you can see that the sidebars up here and the title of the category and featured items and everything are inside the column. But if we choose to show category heading full width instead, it'll move the title and the breadcrumbs and the description text to above all that stuff, which effectively is pushing the sidebar down to be directly next to the grid, which is how I like it personally. All right, we have some other choices here on newsletter stuff. I don't need to go over like every single thing that's in here, but you got some choices here for the newsletter bar, which is this bar on the homepage down here. You can switch it out to just be like a widget area instead of the default built-in newsletter, which is a good way to go, especially if you want to like use Klaviyo and you want to embed their sign up form instead of using BigCommerce's default. You could just switch this to use widgets and embed it using an HTML widget. Really easy. Now, we did some cool stuff on the footer, and I'm excited about this because, we are strong believers that your header menu should always be dynamic. It doesn't mean you can't get fancy with it, but it means that we believe strongly that your categories and your pages should all show up on the front end the way that they do on the back end, so that you just add something there, and as long as it's check marked, it's going to show up how it's nested in the back end, right? Um, but the footer, we've ended up hard coding people's footers thousands of times because there's not a great way to put content in, right? So by default, we included some obligatory content like the store, like the address field from the store and the name of the store. This right here, oh, this is where we have the headings, right? So Epic Design Labs, this right here is coming from heading for column 1. Then you got heading column 2, heading column 3, etc. And we're putting in default content like your top level categories here, your first 10 or 15 brands here, and etc. So this is outputting your pages menu over here, right? And so what normally happens is like 100% of the time, the content that's in your footer doesn't match what you really want it to be, right? So here's the cool thing we did. We said, number one, you can change the number of footer columns to have up to 5, but let's say we just want 4 instead of the 5 that's their default. Boom. Now we got 4 columns going all the way across, right? And we do have widgets here, but we gave you guys this special button that says use widgets for footer columns, and watch what happens when that happens. See, it left the columns, but it took out all of the placeholder content so that you can now use widgets to populate these footer columns. And I'm going to show you how nice and easy that is here in a minute. So there's a couple other settings here, like some settings for your product cards where you can turn on or turn off the ability to show the brand right here and the ability to show the product summary, which is this bonus line that's pulling from your product description. Um, but that's about it. Okay, so you can see that there's not a lot to it. It's got all the basics, but again, our theme is trying to be the fastest out there. It's trying to get out of your way. It's trying to not be loaded up with HTML or JavaScript, and at the same time, it's trying to have really good HTML. And I went over in the prior video, how to look at the HTML, like the heading structure, to see the difference between this and one of the other premium themes or even the free themes on BigCommerce, and how this has much cleaner elements from an SEO standpoint. All right. The one thing I would do, just because this is always going to drive me crazy, and this is not a feature of our theme, but this is a feature of Cornerstone, is the ability to turn off this doggone carousel. I'm not a fan of carousels. Carousels lower your conversion rate, and there's no need for it to be there. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to have a hero, but it just doesn't need to be a carousel. All right, so I'm going to save this. Now saving it saves it so I can come back to my spot, but it's not going to go live unless I say use as active theme. So what I got right now is I have my featured products which were in there by default. I have this widget that was left over from my prior stuff. And that's about it, right? So let's spice it up a little bit. And we're going to do that by now coming in here and getting the widget app. So to do that, we're going to go to apps and then app marketplace. We're going to scroll down here because they don't feel like making our app featured, I guess. And I'm going to click on discover apps in the marketplace. And here, I'm going to type in Epic. And probably the first one that'll pop up will be our Widgets app. We have other apps that are published, but this is the one we're looking at today. Got lots of reviews. It's been around for quite a while. But the stuff I'm going to show you guys today is new stuff that we've only recently added. So Epic Page Builder Widgets, I'm going to click Get This App. And it is free to get, but the part that we're going to want is going to take a $79 one-time update. So I'm going to add this to my RV Gear Pro store. And that brings us to this page right here. I'm going to click Install and confirm. All right. So now the app is in here, and it did say that it's $0 up front, and it did say there's no recurring. There is no recurring, and it is 0 up front. But to get the extra features in this BC Mod Stack tab, which is what I'm going to show you, you do need to upgrade. Those dirty dogs. So you got to pay $79 to update this. This is one time. This is the biggest question we get, which is how much is it on an ongoing basis? It's pay $79 one time. One time only. We're not going to keep, nickel and diming you. It's just $79. And we made it one time, even though all of the competitive widget apps that came after ours charge monthly. We made it one time because we didn't want to give you ever a reason to uninstall it. So once you buy it, you got it. If we add more stuff in the future, you're going to have that stuff too. There's not going to be any upgrades at any point. $79 one time. Is it really one time? Yes, it's really one time. Is there recurring? No, there's not. It's no recurring. It's $79 one time. Just $79 one time. All right. I can't believe how many times I get people asking me that in a week. How much is it? Dude, it's $79 one time. All right. So I'm going to click to buy this from myself again. Okay. And it's saying it's going to charge me on that same card, place order. And yeah, so it's going to place an order. It's going to charge me right now. Processing my order. It says I got it, purchase successful, and click back to app. Okay. Okay. Now that we are back in the app in Epic Page Builder Widgets, which is under the apps, there's a couple things we're going to do. First of all, we're going to go to the configuration tab, and we're going to click on one called custom menu. So this isn't toggled on your side by default. So go ahead and click on the toggle right here. And these other ones are all just other widgets you can get as part of our widget app. But the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click into this tab that says BC Mod Stack. Now these are special widgets. And let me tell you about 3 different kinds of widgets. First of all, there are what we're going to call production widgets, which are widgets made for everybody. So there's like a whole bunch of settings to set. And the drawback of those is there's a whole bunch of settings to set. And so if you're putting these on pages all the time, then it kind of sucks because you got to keep on setting all the settings every time you drop one into the page. You can create a widget from scratch, but then you got to like build it from nothing, and that takes some development chops, right? Now the BC Mod Stack widgets that we've developed are kind of a hybrid of both, right? They're built as custom widgets, so they're actually completely unstyled, right? Which means that they're just going to match the styling of this theme. It means that they can be further styled with a little bit of custom CSS or have additional elements made for added to them. Again, in the code. This is what I'm going to show you guys in the next video, by the way. But they're not like the production widgets in that they don't have a million flags to flag, right? They're ready to be dragged onto the page. They're ready to look good right out the gate, but they're built to be customized further. And that's where this is a little different than what we've had available before. So it's a hybrid. It's production / custom at once, right? By not having all the extra flags, it makes it better. So under the BC Mod Stack tab, we're going to just go ahead and turn all these on. Currently, there's 6 of these. We have a couple more coming, including a triple hero and an FAQ widget that's going to be, it's going to have the code already in place for rich snippets. So those will be nice. And maybe we'll add more, but this is what we have on the roadmap. So we just added the ability to have all 6 of these widgets and the custom menu widget in our store. So I'm going to come back to the customizer and I'm going to refresh the page. You see now under this custom tab over here in the page builder, there's a bunch of new things here, right? There's the custom menu, and then there's these 6 BCM widgets. This is one that I had in there previously, so let's just pretend that's not in there. And yeah, so what we can do now is we can like literally just start dragging these onto the page. Like say I want to start the page with a hero. Like it's a good idea to start a page with a hero. I just don't like carousels, right? So I'm going to drag that to the page and there it is. And I can easily, change this out to a different image, which I don't have any images uploaded, but let's say I wanted to change it out to that, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm not going to do that. Let me just delete this and I'm going to drag it back in, hero overlay, just like that. And imagine I wanted to have like another version of it. Like let's say I wanted to have a hero here between these two rows, right? Let's just go ahead and stick another hero in there. And I did have an alternating banners widget in here, but it's not super styled. So let's go ahead and just use the BCM alternating banner, just like that. And you can see that it's styled a little bit different. And if I want to put this same content into it, then I can just copy this and click into this widget. And here under the content, I can paste that in and there it is. Let's say I'm going to put about us here as my H2. And let's say I'm going to put, instead of this is sample text, say learn more. Let's just say learn more. Okay. I need a link to my about page. So I'm going to go onto the front end. Oh, I don't have it on here yet. Let me refresh. Here it is. So here's my about link. So I'm going to just take that and put it into the button here. And I'm going to change this image to be the image I already had loaded. And I'm going to take this out. So you can see like already, because this is styled to match the rest of them, it's got the same font, it's got the same font size and everything. So it's more to design than what I had there with that production widget, right? And let's say I wanted to have a second version of this, but I wanted to put the image on the right instead of the left, just like that. I can do that, right? But you know what? I kind of don't want it to be like, let me just take this out. I don't want it to be like hero and then products and then double banner and then more products. I want to actually move this second banner to underneath this new product row. So what I can do is take out the layers, right? And I can, first of all, let me just drag in a layout to be underneath here. Oops. A layout just like that. I'm going to make it one column. And you can see that that put a layout here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that second BCM alt banner to that second layout. And look at that. I just moved it. But you know what? Now I want the image to be on the left. So I'm going to switch it back to be on the left. Just like that. Now you can see that there's not that many controls in here. I can change my title element to be an H1 or an H2. We did that purposefully because maybe on some pages you actually want to use this as your hero at the very top of the page, and so you're going to want this to be an H1. Otherwise, you're going to want it to be an H2. So we did give you, that as a control, the control over all of your content, the control over the alignment, and in all of these BCM widgets, we standardized this settings section to give you some things that you may need, like the ability to control margin and padding, the ability to maybe add a border around that section, right? So maybe you want to give it like, big bird border, just like that. But you know what? We need a little bit of padding here so we can show off our big bird border, right? So you know what? I need this big bird. I need more big birds, so I'm gonna just make it bigger like that. And so, like obviously, I don't think anybody in their right mind would do what I just did, but the point is that you have the basic settings, right? You have a background color, you have margin, you have padding, you have a border, and the part that I think is coolest here is the max width. So let me turn off this sidebar and show you why I think this is cool. I just want to get the sidebar out of the way so we can kind of see how cool it is a little bit more. Now, you can see that expanded all of these here to be all the way across, okay? But let's say, the hero is, looks like around 1800 pixels, right? Or 1600 pixels. I guess it's 1800 with the image that I have loaded in here. But you can change the max width to any of these, right? So I could make it full width if I wanted to. And as long as the column that it's in goes full width, which I think that the current column doesn't, then you could easily do that. But imagine if I wanted to make it shrink a little bit and make that 1400 by, for some reason, or 1600. These max width settings kind of give you a way to easily set and control content as you lay it on the page. So imagine underneath there, I wanted to put a text stack, right? That looks pretty good. And then underneath that, I want to put an alternating banner. Okay. Well, the alternating banner, maybe it looks a little bit big. So, or maybe it looks a little bit small and I want to make it a little bit bigger, right? And so this is where these controls come in really nice and handy. We gave you like, 3 stops to use as common stops so that you can kind of alter your page, widthwise as it goes down for a pleasing effect. Anyway, that's the goal. All right, so you can see how easy it is to work with these things. You can just start dragging stuff in. You can drag stuff in, below the, inside the column. You can do it above the column. So if you want your sidebar to start below this stuff, you can easily just add more stuff above it and make it all, really nice, just like this. And when I click preview, you can see how it's going to look on the desktop. And yeah. Okay, there's one more widget I got to show you guys, and this is probably the best one, which is the product set widget. Now, BigCommerce comes with a product set widget. This one's even better because it's styled to match everything and it's got additional data in here. So I'm going to just drag this product set widget to the page. I'm going to click to add a product and type in something. It'll auto-complete, so you just need to search for the products that you want to list. Just like that. Now, if a product is out of stock, it won't show it, but just know that otherwise it will show it. And I'm putting in, oh, that one looks weird because my image isn't the right size. But let me just put in another one of these here. All right, so you can see I need to format my images all the same, which I can easily do by editing my product images, or I can edit this widget and maybe add some manual height to my images or something. But what you notice here is that unlike the BigCommerce product set widget, it's got brand showing, it's got the additional product, like the subtext on it, and it's basically styled exactly to match the way that product cards are showing in this theme by default. So you can see the formatting is exactly the same as what's there. So you got nice matchy. And this is something that you can use on any page in the site. Now, it's currently, I have 5 products showing in there. And if I come into the settings down here, there's max products per line. So say I wanted to change this to be, 4 instead of 5. Look at that. It's going to wrap over to the next line. So, you could even like, you could have this power like 2 rows of products just like that, right? And that looks really good. But you can control the heading, you can control subtext, the headings in H2. Like I said, everything matches the theme by default, and you can control like how many products per line that you're setting, and you can control the max width. So let's say I want to change that back to 5, and I'm going to get rid of the extra product just to make it 1 row. And now instead of 1200, I want to make it 1400, just like that. You can totally do it. You can add a background color. All these widgets have the ability to add a background color. So this is adding a background color behind everything. You can see that it does still keep the product images white because there's white in the product images. So maybe, with it looking all crazy like this, maybe I need to actually add a little padding, right? Make it kind of like brought in a little bit. Now, if I wanted to add a little bit of spacing between the products, I could totally do that. And so you can see you can go kind of crazy on it. Now, as I mentioned, like these widgets are here. They are hybrid widgets. They are built as custom widgets, but they're unstyled. So, say your developer wants to come in and make your headings all a different color, or make every word in the heading except for the first word a different color, or change the font size to oversize it, or change the font on one of these, or like I said, add some spacing or add some border radius to the images. These are all customizable, and I'm going to go over this in the next video. So in this video, we went over really the theme, how it's really close to Cornerstone, but it's got some significant options on top of Cornerstone that make your theme actually usable. We went over widgets, how to get them, how to install them, how to put them on the page, all that stuff. So you got all the meats, all the meat that you need to start building your site, right? And if you're a DIYer, you can be, setting up your theme, you can be adding your widgets to the theme right this minute. Like there's nothing stopping you, and you can always come to a developer later to dial it up if you want, or you can reach out to us and we'll do it, we'll do a proper design for this, but build it with these widgets. What's cool about the widgets too is, like I said, these are available on any page. So say I wanted to go to my, my shipping and returns page for some reason, and I wanted to add a hero to the top of this, right? So I can come in here and say, like, let's take the hero overlay and let's put it right here, right? Or maybe let's put it um, up here and do like an image of somebody shipping this product, right? You can do whatever you want, right? You can add those products to whatever page you want, even on the category pages. And we've done that actually on a couple of people's site where we wanted to have a category of all the products, and then we wanted to use like a product set widget to show like example products, almost like a portfolio. We've done that. I mean, the sky's the limit. Once you have the tools, it's just you're only limited by your imagination. So hopefully this made sense. We really recommend you have a light, fast theme. We've built the lightest, the fastest. That's the Epic Superstore template. For BigCommerce, we recommend building your pages out using widgets. I've shown you how to get the widgets. I've shown you how to place the widgets. You just got to, put your own content in at this point. And then the third step is if you want some customization past that, that's where things really, open up to look even better and better, right? So in the next video, I'm going to speak as a developer and show you guys how and where to do some things to dial up your theme and dial up your widgets without making a mess and keeping everything lean and mean and staying away from that spaghetti code. So if you are a tinkerer, if you are a DIYer with some code chops, or if you're a fellow developer, I really recommend you guys watch the next video. I'm not going to go super deep into it, but I'm going to show you where to get to the things that you need to get to, right? So stay tuned. Go get the theme. Go get the widgets. Start being content first, right here, right now. Thank you guys for watching this. Be sure to join our community, EcomPod. Links in the description, and reach out if you need help. Thank you so much.